we go.
That was my straw. That was my glass straw on my stainless steel straw, my glass actually. Okay, I think we might be live. Let me just double check.
Yeah, it's showing here. It says live.
Fabulous. Okay. Great. Lovely. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to A Naturally Cats Live. We haven't had one for a couple of weeks, and today I've got an amazing special guest who's joining me. Gorgeous, wonderful Amaya from Spain. Oh my goodness, she is a wonderful holistic vet. So I've got some great facts to share about her before I hand over. So tonight we're going to be talking about aggression. We're going to be talking about aggression in multi-cat homes. She's going to talk to us about feline hyperesthesia and so much more. So much more. So Amaya worked and trained in Argentina, and she has worked in the US. She has been a vet for 11 years and she specialized in cats for over 9 years. So I'm so honored to have you here, because having a cat specialist is like, oh, it's my dream. So Amaya also, so not only is she a vet and she specializes with cats, she's a zoopharmacognosy practitioner, so she does self-selection with remedies. She also specializes in nutrition. So for those of you that have seen the posts in the Naturally Cats community for the last 24 hours, we've been talking about food, and we're going to touch on that tonight. But I have asked Amaya if she'll come back for a separate session where we will talk about nutrition in a lot more detail. We're both very passionate about the topic, and I know that we could share a lot more with you, but that's not for tonight. Tonight is about aggression. But Amaya also works with flower remedies, and she's just starting to get into sound therapy and crystals. So I don't know about you guys, but like I'm going to sit here with my jaw open, just waiting to soak up all the knowledge and information. So Amaya, thank you very much for joining me this evening.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm so happy to. I love to talk about cats, you know.
That's great, because that's all we're going to do tonight.
Yay.
Oh, brilliant. So let me just check that everything's working. Can everyone hear us? Oh, brilliant. We've got questions coming through already.
We haven't started talking yet.
That's great, Joe. Great question, Joe. We will get to that, my love. I'm sure we will. So I'm going to be looking to the side because I'm monitoring comments on my phone, just so people are don't think I'm not paying attention. So first of all, really simple question. You know, as a holistic feline behaviorist myself, I know what my interpretation of aggression is. I've written a blog about 10 types of feline aggression, but I'm really interested in your perspective. Tell me what you've come across, clients that you've dealt with. Tell me, what is aggression from your perspective?
Well, for me, aggression, it's a form of anxiety between anxiety and fear. It's like both things are connected, and also a bad communication skills, maybe from the cat, maybe from the between cats, or maybe human to cat, or well, any participants, you know. But for me, it's a way of reaction. Is and if we look it up as our nervous system is actually a reaction. Mm-hmm. So for me, the term aggression, it's a little too strong, mm-hmm. because when you're able to understand that it's actually a reaction, we are most of our lives as humans reacting to things, mm-hmm. all the time. The thing is the way we react and which part of our brain is working at that moment. And we have our levels set, you know, at some point to say, okay, I react easier or I take a little longer. And that's where anxiety comes from, or stress, or, you know, where do I put my limits, you know, where do I set up and get the fire going on? Yeah. And also we have the other thing, that is, what do we think as a human? What is an aggression? Because we most of the time don't understand how a cat communicate. So most of the time we're confusing aggression with playing, or aggression with you know, anything. We take personal many things, to personal so many things. So I would say in general words, it's a reaction full from anxiety and fear. That would be like my summary of all.
Yeah, lovely. I mean, for me, like aggression takes varied formats. So, you know, I wrote a blog, crikey, about 10 months or so ago now, and I had to break it down into 2 parts because I worked through and identified 10 types of aggression. Now, people may have more, people may have, you know, put them into less categories. That's yeah, absolutely fine. But for me, it was like, there are some which are, you know, obvious. So like maternal aggression, you know, you've got a feral mum with kittens and things, you know, you don't go near. But there are others which are, you can't necessarily pin down the cause. So like if you've got pain aggression, so you know, and again, like you said, it's not necessarily aggression, it's a reaction. Because if you touch that cat, for example, bottom of the back, very common, you know, elderly cats, arthritis, and they're in pain, and you touch that point, what's that cat gonna do? It's gonna hiss or go to bite you or scratch you maybe, but that's not necessarily aggression. That's them saying, ow, that hurts, right?
That's the way they communicate. And also, now that you mentioned this, there's also another thing, that we are very invasive in our relationship with the cat. So most of the times we are thinking that the cat is hurting us because he put some boundaries on. And that's not aggression. So I know most of people had to have, like I do, a cat with hyperesthesia, and then you will understand a lot of things of what I'm saying. but it's I think that we should learn how to communicate, how to learn from them, in order to see that we all live from reaction. You know, we are, most of the time, unless you are so eliminated, you're gonna act from reaction. So I also know that there are some aggressions that are, like you said, maternal or territorial, or, you know, instinct. They come from instinct, but it's also a reaction. So I try to put it all together, because if you understand the root of everything, of where it comes from, it's easier. Then you can, you know, separate different things and say, okay, this comes from instinct, this comes from trauma, this comes from pain, this comes from different ways, you know? But they are all one part of the brain, and in order to fix it, you must understand that.
I love what you said there about boundaries. You know, I think that is something that for those that have followed Naturally Cats for a while, will know that, you know, my mission is about giving cats a voice. That's my hashtag. It's on everything. And I think that is one of the things that I am so passionate about, is that they're misunderstood. So I relate to that a lot from my own previous human, you know, childhood, but let's not go into that tonight, you know. But with cats, they're misunderstood because people think that they're reacting, and like you said, there is this aggression which actually is a response. It's not necessarily, you know, a behavior driver, and it's because we've not respected them, or we've not understood them, or, you know, we've not kind of respected what's going on. So, like, you know, for example, the maternal aggression is really obvious, but for, you know, let me think of a different one. So fear,
wouldn't you be maternal aggressive if you have a kid?
Exactly.
That's what I want to normalize a little bit. It's like,
no, I can
touch my baby.
I do that with Leo. We had another cat, and we've got another black cat that's coming into Leo's territory. And I am like super mum, right? As soon as I see it, I want to rush out there and chase it away. But the other day, my husband said to me, he's like, babe, come and check this out. And we were looking out through the window, and we could see both of the cats. Leo's got a red collar on, and obviously he's got his ear tipped. And they're like standing off, right? You know, and the neighborhood cat was very, very quiet, very slow. And Leo is going all sorts of crazy vocals, you know, and was really puffed up. And I'm like, yeah, you go, boy, you defend that territory. But there was part of me that was like, oh, my baby, you know, I want to go out and just chase the other cat away. And Rob's like, my husband, he said to me, would you just let him do it? He's got it. He's sorted it. And he did a cracking job, because the other cat really slowly, like on slow motion, turned away and sort of like went underneath the fence, but Leo was straight after him. But there was a part of me that was like, it's my baby, what, you don't go near my boy, you know.
And the other thing, now that you mentioned, territorial aggression, you notice that cats don't necessarily fight. They they really try not to fight, not to get into the fight. So why are we talking about aggression if actually what are we doing that comes to, as a response of I'm going to, try to make you understand. If you don't understand what my boundary is or where my place is, then I will have to let you know in some other way.
Yeah, and we do that as humans, right? You would turn around and say to someone, if they're in your personal space, I'm sorry that makes you feel really uncomfortable, or you just would back away yourself, wouldn't you?
Mm-hmm.
And again, great point. So I don't think everyone knows this, that cats will do anything to avoid confrontation. They don't like to get into fights. If they're fighting, you've got issues. You've got to help, you've got to support, you've got to look at what you can do to support that cat.
Yes, because they're very strategic for me, the cat. I mean, the way they think about things. So I don't see them as aggressive ever.
No. And yet here we are talking about aggression.
Yeah, I know. And it's one of the most common subjects to talk about.
But I think you're right, though. As humans, we have to label. We have to put a label on it, don't we? We have to, to be able to understand something, we've got to be able to put it in a nice compartment, in a nice little box. And to be able to break it down into 10 different types of aggression, or to be able to put it in that label to say that's what they're doing, it makes it easier for our lizard brain to understand, right? Yeah. So tell me your experience, because I realize I'm talking quite a lot and this is meant to be interviewing you. All right. Tell me about your experience with multi-cat homes. And
multi-cat homes. Well, I was until October for last year, I worked at Cat Cafe. So I know what multi-cat homes look like. And aggression looks like, let's say. So what is my experience is that the cats with less confidence, when they're shy, or they don't have communication skills, or they've been they had suffered trauma or something like that. They are like having hard time to adapt to the space, to everything. So when they get there and they don't communicate, they are the other cats, the one that is brave and has all the character. He wants to set limits. So I do have my own way of explaining things. So if I get too weird, just let me know. But it's like, I do believe that cats are opportunistic, and they want to have certain something, how do you say this, sort of way of things. It's not calm, the word I'm looking for. It's more they want to have the same reaction from all the cats. Every cat has to behave a certain way in order to keep it calm. Everything.
Yeah, they want the consistency.
Yeah. So if someone is not acting, whether he's acting out or less, it's like they're going to stop it, because they have to show that everything is okay. They don't like to show the weaknesses, or stresses is like, if someone is showing stress, that compromises the well-being of the other one, the posture he's having. So sometimes in multi-cat homes, what happens is that there is always one cat that is not communicating well with the others, or with the environment. Sometimes it's not about between cats, it's that one cat is not very well adapted, so he's like struggling a little bit. So the other ones are trying to show him, like, come on, wake up, Come
on, buddies, what you got to do.
And when we see this, sometimes we react as humans. We tend to like say, poor my baby, let's do this, let's do that, try to protect it, try to save him, so there are certain things I see. It's not about how many cats you have. It's what is the relationship you have with each of them and as a group. It's like I always treat individually and as a group, because every cat has a relationship with you, because you're the human, you're the one who's feeding them, you're the one who's trying to get a bond out of it, right? So, and then you have how they react, how they relate to each other, and the communication skills, and the instincts, whatever is going on. So what I try to do there is I try to give confidence to the one that doesn't have, but I do it individually. I work with a cat until that cat learns how to play, learns how to, use his instincts back, so he can get back into the group and say, okay, I'm ready. I'm settled. I can get this, right? And then the group works fine, because if your cats are at some point sorted, I mean, you take care of each of them, they are going to get along. So for me, aggression in multi-cat homes, it's a problem of the human. So
you're braver than me, because I don't usually say that, but I hear you.
I don't mind, because I've been there. I've made a lot of mistakes during on my work. I worked 7 years in this cat cafe here in Madrid, and I had 24 cats all the time in a big space, but they were cats, not breed cats or anything. No, they were from animal shelters. They came with all sorts of conditions, and I learned so much of, this cat is not about how many steps you take to introduce a cat with another. It's how you are able to see what the cat actually needs, because sometimes it's going to be easy and sometimes you need to take time. And then you have to know a lot about communication, because sometimes they're making these noises and this meowing, and well, you have to know about that. I don't freak out, but but most of the time, what I read in books about how to introduce a cat, how to, I believe there are human steps for us to feel comfortable, but they are not focused on what the cat needs. And that's so to summarize all, it's treat a cat individually, and then you will have a nice group, and then you can fix all the things around.
Amaya, that's music to my ears. That is something that is the mission, for people to realize that every cat is an individual. Let me put my light on a sec. Oh, there we go. That's a bit better. Not in my cave. That every cat is unique. Every cat is individual, just like humans, right? Just because we all have flesh and bones and hair and what have you, we're all completely different and unique. And I find it frustrating, like you said, when people are like, oh, they should be getting on, or I've done this or I've done that, and it's like, okay, but do you realize what this specific cat needs? So I'm working with a client at the moment, and she's got one cat that loves to be outdoors, the other's not bothered so much. So it's like, okay, so can you think about a routine where the one that likes to go outside can do that a bit more, because they're on leads and stuff. And if the other one's not bothered, then don't worry about it, but because the one that likes to go outside doesn't like to be with the other cat, so give him space. That's what he needs. And I love it when I start to work with people and you figure out the kind of nuances of each cat, like you said. And you mentioned before about if a cat's not communicating very well, and I'm like, oh my god, you get it. They're not just things, they're not just animals, they are trying to communicate in a way that they know how, with their scenting, with their vocalization, with their body language. and we need to read it, we need to learn it, you know. And I don't think everyone's kind of aware of that. People have this misconception of it's just a cat, or a cat will do this and I feed it, and it's that's the sum of our relationship. And I don't know about you, but I'm trying to encourage people that the more they connect in with their cat and see them and realize how unique they are, the deeper their bond can be. I mean, would you agree with that?
Yes, of course. Actually, if you take some time, even if you don't know anything about communication with another cat, with a human cat, right? The only fact that if you sit down to you set at their eye level with them, and you just calm, and you just take time, it's going to come. The bond, the communication, it's going to flow, because it is there, and they already know that you're trying. Because even if you don't know, but for example, my cat doesn't know how to communicate. He's the worst ever. So he's learned from the other cat who does it perfectly, you know. So he had to learn as well. You know, he got some scratches along the way, but he learned how to communicate, because we took time. It's like, okay, let's sit here, let's try. I could make I'm sure I made mistakes in the process, but that's what it's about. It's not about having the, you know, the step guide on how you do it. It's more to just to listen to yourself, and, you know, and be calm at the moment when you are doing this.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. So, you know, I've tried to say to people, I don't post a lot of behavior stuff online because it's not rigid like that. It's like, you know, what does your cat need? What does your cat like? You know, does your cat like a groom or a brush? Because some cats, if you go near them with a brush, they'll be hissing at you and saying, no, thank you, I don't like that. Back off, buddy. You know, so what does your individual cat like? And also, I always try to support people with, you know, cats are very present. They're very much in the moment. So you know, yes, they suffer with trauma, don't get me wrong. And yes, you know, their body can carry, you know, have energy blocks and stagnant energy and that kind of thing. You know, I mean, sort of like, generally speaking, they are in the present moment. So when we put phones down and we actually connect to our breath and come into the moment with them, that's when we can truly see how they are, how they act, what their needs are, what they need from us. Because I found a lot of the time we just need to connect, we need to be aware. And like you said, they may not be a great communicator, or they might be really vocal and great at communicating, but either way, if you just sit and pay attention to them, that is going to be enough a lot of the time.
Yes, because they know that you're trying. Because you're present, and that's what they like. Actually, my cat, the one with hyperesthesia, he was very afraid of everything. He suffered a lot of things in his life, and one of the things is that he used to bite me a lot. When I adopted him, he was like biting me for everything. Now it's the way he has for communication. I mean, he doesn't know how to do it in any other way, and he does it. But I was wondering at the time why he was doing it all the time, and for things that weren't, you know, he wasn't asking for anything. So I realized that what he was worried about is that I wasn't present, that I was worried about work, that I was all with my phone, that I was sitting somewhere and doing things, and, you know, I'm worried like crazy human going around. And when I realized that, he literally stopped biting. He stopped because he knew that all he wanted was for me that if I'm gonna brush him, just brush me. That's it. My other cat likes to I put the brush just like this, and she does it all herself. She doesn't want to be brushed. So if you have two cats, for example, and one of them doesn't want to play, try to play with them individually. And then you can see if your cat doesn't play, because maybe he's like, I don't want to play with him.
Or maybe it's like, you know, one likes a wand toy and one likes a fish, you know.
Exactly. Or the other one is so anxious that it goes and invades all the game all the time. So we have to be, you know, just pay attention and also take this time to learn ourselves that we are like crazy people going around and not thinking about things, right? So if they tell, it's a very good way to do mindfulness instead of washing your dishes and thinking about it.
Oh my God, I love that. I love that. Cat mindfulness. I think that's absolutely true. I've tried to share that before, you know, when I've started to run something called Calm Cats meditation classes. So people turn up, you know, and they can bring their cat. And the first one we did, at the end, everyone's saying, oh, my cat, my God, my cat's really chilled out. My cat's zoned out. I'm like, yeah, that's because you are, you know, that's because your energy has come down. You've become present. You've taken a breath. And you know, I've talked before about how they soak up our energy and our emotions and stuff. You know, they are the most gorgeous, fluffy little sponges, you know, ever. So I totally agree with you on that. You mentioned, which I want to talk about, can you believe we've been talking for nearly half an hour? I know, right? Feline hyperesthesia. So tell us, because some people may not know, can you tell me what it is and what's your experience of it and what kind of treatments and stuff for it, please?
Okay, well, there is a scientific way of hyperesthesia, which is the high sensitivity to pain. And it usually comes from skin disorders or, you know, fleas, allergies, or, well, even trauma in the spine. But I also had the experience of hyperesthesia for cats that suffered some sort of trauma, but emotional trauma. And it could be related to physical trauma because, well, for example, my cat has suffered both of them. You know, he was from the street and he was afraid of brooms.
Brushes.
So I'm sure he had a little bit of arthritis on his back here. So I think he got bitten with one of them. You know, so it could be, and is always related of some kind of pain or trauma, right? But I also had some other hyperesthesia cats with hyperesthesia that only suffered emotional trauma. For example, starvation. You know, they were left alone several days in an apartment and until somebody rescued them, and lack of socialization.
Socialization, you got it. It's a bitchin' word.
There are some words that are
you do great, my love.
And then and those are more responsive to aggression. I mean, they are more prone to aggression.
Yeah.
The ones that are not physically. And also I had other ones that had skin disorders, but those are usually very easy to treat because once you treat that problem, you know, they get fixed at some point.
Yeah. So you would treat the skin condition, and then the symptoms of the hyperesthesia would cease.
Yes, but there's some other point that some authors call it like a bipolar disorder, because once it gets to, you know, a certain level, it comes as a kind of movement that it's, how do you say this, like epilepsy but from the skin, and it's like that you have some contractions in the skin, like it's not only the how do you say it? Like epilepsy, like the
so it's like fits, like seizures of the skin.
Seizures,
isn't it?
that's where I was looking, like seizures in the skin, you know, like small movements, and they don't know, they don't associate that with their own body. They think somebody else is doing that. So that is what separates, and they say that it's schizo or half bipolar disorder, because there is some dissociation from you know, the body and the brain. And those are the worst cases, and those are the ones that suffered a lot. I have never seen them healed. They are always having some, well, they can get a lot better. But you have to work with them always. Constantly. Because you have to understand boundaries with them. And well, the best well, there are drugs for that, but what I use the most is valerian root, and I use ilang ilang.
Oh yeah, lovely.
Those are my favorite ones. Well, the cat chooses, but most of the time they choose that.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Or
If you're going to start somewhere, start with those. Yeah.
Yes, and then if nothing works and you cannot cope with aggression, well then it's gabapentin. But well, I try not to use it. Actually, my cat doesn't take any gabapentin. He usually gets his session of supremacognosis like every week or so. He has valerian root everywhere.
Well, but your apartment smells gorgeous.
Yeah. Delicious. Look, I have it right here, just in case. And well, when he gets nervous, he has it, he has it available all the time. And I have it him for 7 years now, I think. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And he's amazing now. From when it started, you can check on YouTube. When he got into my home, I have a video that says Nilo is the name, versus the broom or la escoba, and you have it. Actually, I recommend to use headphones because the screamings are awful.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, but you can check that out and see how, if you see my cat now, well, you will see it on all my social media. He's a different cat now. He sleeps all day, and he's gorgeous now. And we understand each other. So don't worry if you have a cat with hyperesthesia. It's always fixable at some point.
I bet it's a bit. So I've never experienced that. I've experienced diabetes, and now we're on the asthma train. Picard, IBS as well. So I've never had first-hand experience of a cat with hyperesthesia. So I bet it's a bit of a journey. I bet it's like, you are continuously trying to support them and understand what their triggers are or what's activated them, or how you can support them. Is that kind of how it goes for you day to day?
Yeah, it's always like that. Then you understand there is a mechanism that it's always repeating itself. For example, in my cat, it's fear. What triggers? He's afraid of everything all the time, but it's not like he's afraid of the noises or no. You'd never know what he's afraid of.
Right.
You open a window and it's too windy, and he's gonna be afraid of the wind. You don't know what is going to trigger that. But there are other cats that are more obsessive, like they're how do you say, when they're too vigilant, like
hypervigilant.
Hypervigilant. Okay, that's the same word. Okay. And they are very obsessive and they focus on something. So there are different ways to express it, the aggression in hyperesthesia. But what I want to say about this is that it's a journey. But I also learned that these cats, they are the most how do you say, the most lovable cats, because when they understand that you're trying. I've never seen I've met like 5 or 6 cases of hyperesthesia, and that developed pretty well. And I've seen one with a baby that is so overprotective of the baby, like so lovable and so good. And so, they're, as much as they have to give of the fear of everything, they have everything. They have too much love, too much everything.
That sounds like people who are like, super sensitive, like that I'm like that. I pick up on really stupid noises. I say to my husband, like, can you hear that noise? He's like, no, what is wrong with you? But people that are hypersensitive, are generally people that will love a lot, and being sensitive isn't a bad thing in the human world or the cat world. But like you said, they just need a bit of extra love, a bit of extra support, or maybe different love and different support. Again, like you said before, it's an opportunity to find out how you can love them. And I think that is something that we need to register, that you can't love every cat the same. You need to learn how you can love cat A, cat B, cat C, whatever.
And they can learn to live with another cat, and they can learn to live with everything. The thing is that, it takes more work to build a bond with that cat, but it's totally worth it. Actually, he's my best teacher ever. For all the 400 cats I had in that cat cafe, he's like the best.
Shh, don't say that out loud. You've got another cat that lives with you. You're a cat mum to two, you know. Oh, brilliant. Well, this has been wonderful, Amaya. I mean, like I said, I think you and I are very kindred spirits and could talk a lot about cats. Yeah. And I'm really grateful that you've said something out loud, which I've never really been brave enough to do, which is to say that, a lot of cat problems are from the humans. But, I'm really grateful that you were, you shared your perspective with us, and I echo it a lot. I think to be able to give cats a voice, we've got to see them as unique and individual, and we've got to learn that we have to adapt to what they need. We're asking them to live with us. So we've got to understand how we can support them with that,
but also not just to understand how to live with them. It's also it's an opportunity for us to become better humans, because that's thanks to them, thanks to the work I had to do with cats, and not just as also as a vet, as a practitioner, whatever. As I told you, the cats opened for me many doors. And all of the doors had this self-growth inside, like, this is the journey you have to take, this is how you have to develop, and you can do this with many different animals. That's not exclusive from the cat, but the cat makes it a challenge, and it's an opportunity for us to grow. It's good to know that we are the mistake, because if it's not, it's easier to fix our own mistakes than the cat mistakes.
Definitely. We can change our own behavior, right? We can influence our own behavior. You can't change the cat, you can only change yourself, right?
Yes. So it's easier. So let's not take it as a bad thing that we are the cause of.
I love your reframe. No, I genuinely think that's brilliant. So I'm just going to go and have a look at the comments. I mean, anyone's got any questions? Oh, so right at the beginning, Joe said, I was asked to groom a cat with hyperesthesia, so we'd love to find out more. So we've obviously talked about what it is and how you can help your cat. Have you got any other kind of tips about if you're trying to groom a cat with hyperesthesia, any remedies to help, or what would you say?
I wouldn't groom a cat with hyperesthesia.
Just not do it.
No.
Right. Okay.
Well, if he's a long-haired, well, you have to do it very, very gentle, because there is no, as I said, it's impossible to know what triggers the episode, the rolling skiing. So it is something you have to, do it carefully. And sometimes there are cats that would need a plastic brush. Some others would need a metal one. So, well, you can try different things, but, understand that if he gets mad, he's right. So
Joe said that he's matted. So I mean, would something like putting down some rosebuds and valerian to try and kind of help that emotional overload, because obviously that he's got a physical reaction with the pain or with the discomfort, but I wonder if there's any way, and I'm not suggesting that we stop his reaction, but is there any way to support him emotionally whilst she's trying to kind of deal with that mat, by offering some herbs?
She can use she can use valerian root and ylang ylang, which are the anticonvulsant or seizure. But the thing is that it's pain involved.
Yeah.
So you have to be very careful, and maybe you can try, hold the brush and you see what happens. But it's really hard.
Yeah. So just try and take it slow and do the best you can. Yeah. Okay. Stephanie says you get lots of signals before aggression happens. I think she's right. Once you start to learn to read your cat, you can see what their warning signals and warning signs are to say we've crossed that boundary. We've crossed that line. They're not happy. Totally agree. Yeah. Diane says, so I'm the problem, lol. She said, All four of my rescue cats are so different and have different needs and wants, so I'm aware of that, but some still have issues, and that's the same with humans, right? You know, I'm aware of my husband's needs, but I'm sure, you know, we still have issues. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you know, great circle of life that is.
That's not a good thing. We have to be we have to know that we do the best we can.
Indeed.
And we're gonna make it better sometime. You know, we just need time, as the same time as cats. So
yeah,
as long as you understand that, just have fun with it.
That's it, right? I mean, you don't get it right all the time, and when you, like, I hate to use the words, but fail, get it wrong, that's when you learn, and you know, you grow from that. And we're cyclical beings, that's all we can do. You can only do the best you can in the moment with what you've got, and that's what everyone's doing, I think. So Susie says, then adding the dogs and the husband, and it's quite a party. I'm not quite sure what that bit was in reference to.
Well, with the dog, you have to understand that is another
level
with another different communication. So okay, have patience with that.
Yeah. Oh, Susie said violet leaf is good for helping them to go through something they know they must have but don't want. Awesome, thank you. Brilliant. So there's no other questions. So I just want to say a massive thank you to you for joining me this evening, and I am so emailing you tomorrow with dates for May to come back and talk about food if you're cool with that. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'm really grateful that you had the time to come and talk to my community. Thank you, Amaya.
I will do it anytime you want, because I love to talk about cats. Well, and also you said we are going to talk about nutrition, so I love that.
Yes. So before we go, tell everyone where they can find you. So are you on Facebook? Are you on Instagram? Because if they start looking for Amaya, they won't find you. So tell people where they can find you.
They can find me as a feline veterinarian. I mean, vet. So it's the 3 letters of feline veterinarian. .s. Right? It's Instagram, it's Facebook, it's my website. Everything is the same way. So you can find me as that.
Cool. And can you drop a comment if you get chance, maybe not tonight, but maybe tomorrow, can you drop a comment in the Facebook video, just so people can go and see your cat when you first got him, the video you mentioned on YouTube?
Oh yes, I can share it. Yeah, but just make sure to use headphones.
Yeah, let's not upset current cats, people. Well, thank you very much. Everyone says thank you, and it's been great. So thank you everyone for tuning in, and everybody that's joined us this evening. It's been great to have you here to answer some questions, hear your comments. I think Susie's been the best, and Susie and Diane have made me chuckle. Thank you, Amaya, for being, you know, honest and open about your views and perspective. And for anyone catching on replay, I really hope you enjoy it. We've had a couple of giggles. It's been a fabulous talk. So thank you very much, everyone, and thank you, Amaya, and I will speak to you soon.
Thank you. I love the way you work as well. So okay.
Thank you.
Let's share our knowledge.
Definitely. Let's work on giving cats a voice. Am I right?
Exactly. I love that phrase. I love it. I'm just saying now, you know, like Julianne says, giving cats a voice. It's really good.
It's got to be done, people. It's got to be done. Come and join the mission. Lovely. You take care, Amaya. Thanks everyone for watching. We'll catch you soon. Bye for now.
Bye, guys. Bye.